Here we are with our next video about the so-called data tables. And when is it meaningful to use data tables? It's useful when you want to alternate input values. You could either alternate only one input value or two input values. And it isn't so easy to alternate its input value because there's, for example, a model behind it or so on. And you can also use data tables if you want to solve a problem that you have to solve several times, but it requires more than a single line or so on. It requires a lot more space, and therefore you cannot do this that simply. So, and how does it need to look to use data tables? You need here the value you want to enter either in a row or column if you have one input value you want to alternate. And then you have there, when you have only one value, you have it above the values you want to paste in a formula or a reference to the result cell. And if you have two input values, you have them both in a row and a column. And then the formula is in the leftmost upper free cell there. So take a look at this. We will take this look at this in an instance in Excel. And then after you created this appearance we've talked current about here, then you click on data and on what if analysis and data table. And here you need to select if your values to be alternated, so your input values are in a column, you need to select the entry cell in the cell entry here in values from column, so column input cells. And if your values to be alternated are in a row, you need to click on row input cell. And to proceed the same way, so click on this for this and this for that. Then click on OK and click on done. And then you need to pay attention because the automatic calculation of data tables in Excel is deactivated by default. For example, if your result is 0, this may be the reason, and then you need to go to the fix. And the fix you could have either under File and Options. You need to click on Workbook Calculations and on Automatic. And also you could go on the Formulas and Calculating option and click there on Automatic. And we will show this. I will show this in Excel what you can do with this. So here we have our values and we have their formula. This formula is quite simple, but it could be also more complicated. And I want to alternate here the number one value here for this appearance. So my result is here. So I either click on a reference to this cell here, or I copy this formula here inside this cell. Doesn't make a difference. And then every one of those values will be put in here and the result will be pasted here. So let's take a look. Go to data, what if analysis, data table. Our values are in a single column. So I go here, column input cell, and then I select the cell I want to put in the value to alternate. And then you see my calculation is already on. Otherwise you should go here. Here, every time the 1 is inputted there, then the 0, then the 2, then the 3, then the 4, and it's done for every of those values here, because I've selected here this range here. And then you could also do this with 2 values. So also, sorry, I need to input here the result. Here I will link to the result cell. And then you need to also go here to data tables. Our row input cell, it doesn't matter here which one is the one cell, but let's take it as before. This is this is number 2, and then this is number 1. Click on OK, and you see it's calculated. So here we were inputting, for example, for this cell here, we were inputting for the value 1, we're inputting a 5, and for the second value, we're inputting a 2, and the value result is 20. So with this case, it doesn't make that much sense to use data tables. But as you will see here, this is one of a DCF model or valuation model. And if you want, for example, to calculate here the growth values here, and your result is here is the course of the stock, then you possibly would have a problem, because when you want to alternate this value for multiple values, you need to you need to input here every time. So don't 13%, it's only 10, or what is when it's 11, and then you need to go here every time and put in the value here, copy the value, the result value aside, put in another value, not to 12, copy the value here aside, and so on and so on. And with data tables, this could be done with a click of a button. So let's start. How many rows are there here? 11. So sequence. Sorry for this formula. We will take a look at this formula later. So I want to alternate these values inside here, the growth for the first value. Our result is this number here. Then I want to calculate with these values. What if analysis data table? My values are in a single column. Therefore, I need to go here, and my input cell is here. So I click on this cell here, and here the values are inside. Are every time. Here, this 2% are inputted here, and the result is copied here aside, and so on and so on. Also for 3%, and so on. So you see, this can be handy, for example, if you don't know how to do this in manually, or if you don't want to do this manually and don't know how to use a formula there, you can use here this method with data tables. Not X. So, and you could also do this for 2 values, for example, 5, 20, 27. If you don't know, for example, 2 values here, so you have, for example, you don't know which one is the growth factor for the first year, and then also not how long the company will grow with that percentage. You can also alternate those values here. So in a row, there are the time values. So up until which year we grow with this percentage. So this is here, and then there's also, as before, our growth factor 1 in this input cell here. Click on OK, and you see everything is calculated. So if we grow with 12% up until 2031, oh sorry, 2031, then our value is here is 110 and 74 cents, as stated here. And you see, every time for every of those value combinations they are put in, and the result is saved here. Can be a very useful tool, to say it that way. In the advanced exercises later on, you need to use data tables, or I highly recommend to use them there. So, and I've also 2 exercises here. I will link them in the video description. One is for the data retrieval we talked in the video before, and one is for the data tables. And the next video will be then the solution for those 2 exercises.